Justin Johnson of Memphis has been sentenced to life in prison for the murder of rapper Young Dolph. Greetings, everyone. Today's video focuses on Justin Johnson, who received a life sentence for the murder of rapper Young Dolph, who was shot 22 times in a premeditated attack associated with a rivalry between competing record labels. After less than 4 hours of jury deliberation, Johnson was convicted of murder, conspiracy, and possession of a firearm. Testimony from co-defendant Cornelius Smith revealed that a $100,000 bounty was placed on Young Dolph by the brother of Yo Gotti. Evidence presented included surveillance footage and phone records that linked Johnson to the crime. Young Dolph, celebrated for his independent music career, had turned down offers from rival labels and had released multiple successful albums. Now let's dive into our discussion. On Thursday, Justin Johnson was convicted of murdering rapper Young Dolph after the jury listened to a co-defendant's testimony indicating that the crime was linked to a conflict between competing record labels. After nearly 4 hours of deliberation, jurors reached a verdict finding Johnson guilty of murder, conspiracy to commit murder, and being a felon in possession of a firearm. He was subsequently sentenced to life in prison by Shelby County Criminal Court Judge Jennifer Mitchell. Cornelius Smith, who was co-defendant with Johnson, claimed that Anthony Big Juk Mims, the brother of rapper Yo Gotti, had placed a $100,000 contract on Young Dolph's life and had also issued bounties on all the artists associated with Young Dolph's label, Paper Route Empire. Smith stated that he and Johnson embarked on the morning of November 17, 2021, in search of someone and were unsure of who we would encounter. According to Smith, they were aware that Young Dolph and several of his artists were involved in a Thanksgiving turkey giveaway, prompting them to head in that direction. Upon spotting Young Dolph's vehicle, they trailed him to a cookie shop in Memphis and unleashed gunfire in broad daylight. Young Dolph was shot 22 times and succumbed to his injuries at the location. During his opening remarks, Deputy District Attorney Paul Hageman informed the jurors that Young Dolph, born Adolph Thornton Jr., was resolute in his pursuit of success as an independent artist and with his own music label. Mr. Hageman remarked, "Attempting to succeed independently may lead to making enemies." He observed that the Cocaine Music Group, currently referred to as Collective Music Group and established by Yo Gotti, sought to recruit Young Dolph, but he declined their offer. Young Dolph subsequently created diss tracks aimed at the label, its musicians, and its second-in-command, Big Juk. Earlier this year, Big Juk was fatally shot outside a restaurant. Smith faces charges of murder and conspiracy to commit murder, but has entered a plea of not guilty. Alongside Smith's testimony, the prosecutors introduced a substantial amount of circumstantial evidence, which included footage from surveillance cameras and data from Johnson's cell phone. Johnson entered a plea of not guilty, and during the closing arguments, defense attorney Luke Evans stated that the videos merely indicate that an individual dressed similarly to Johnson was responsible for shooting Young Dolph. Mr. Evans informed the jury that Smith would make any statement in an attempt to protect himself. Mr. Evans stated, "Cornelius Smith is being dishonest throughout." Mr. Evans also pointed out that Smith's fingerprints were discovered in the escape vehicle, while Johnson's were absent. He claimed there was no evidence that Justin Johnson received any money, whereas Smith stated he had received $800 prior to his arrest, and his defense lawyer later obtained an additional $50,000. Mr. Hageman argued that the evidence from mobile phones and video supported Smith's account. This included calls made between Smith and Johnson just prior to the murder, as well as a call from Johnson to Big Juk right afterward. DjAkademiks Johnson also provided testimony. He pleaded guilty in June 2023 to 3 charges of being an accessory after the fact by assisting Smith and his half-brother Justin Johnson following the murder. DjAkademiks Johnson has admitted to facilitating communication between the two via mobile phone while they were evading law enforcement. He has yet to receive a sentence. Hernandez Govan, whom Smith recognized as an intermediary for Big Juk, has entered a plea of not guilty regarding the orchestration of the murder. Young Dolph launched his career by putting out a series of mixtapes, beginning with the 2008 release Paper Route campaign. Among his various studio albums is his debut, King of Memphis, released in 2016. Additionally, he worked alongside other artists such as Key Glock, Megan Thee Stallion, T.I., Gucci Mane, 2 Chainz, and more on several mixtapes and albums. He achieved 3 albums in the top 10 of the Billboard 200 with his 2020 release, Rich Slave, reaching a high of number 4. To support our channel's growth and ensure broader awareness, kindly hit the like, share, and subscribe buttons. This will help us reach more individuals and disseminate valuable information. Thank you in advance.